France, Tunisia, Kuwait, what do they have in common? Well, today those three countries all sustained terrorist attacks. In France, a 50-year-old man beheaded at an American-owned chemical plant. According to reports, the man that did the beheading and is now being sought by police left behind Arabic writings, perhaps even on the man's head, severed head, an Islamist flag. We're assuming it's the one used by ISIS these days and popularized in their videos. In Tunisia, it was a seaside resort popular with tourists that was attacked, more than 25 people killed there. And then in Kuwait, a Shiite mosque attacked, ISIS taking responsibility for that. It coming as Muslims that they disagree with gathered for Friday prayers. I bring all this up in the same week that we found out that Canadian cities are considered to be under a medium terrorist threat, and we've got people still snickering at the idea that Canada could be target of a terrorist attack. We had two last fall. True, some politicians, despite multiple reports, including the official RCMP report, refused to say that it was a terrorist attack. A couple of Liberal senators saying recently that it was anything but, and this guy was just mentally ill. It's shocking that with everything going on in the world, you still have those who say terrorism isn't real, that it's manufactured by the media. I'm sorry, you've got one man beheaded, his head essentially put on a fence at a chemical plant, warnings sent out with that. You've got a mosque attacked for being the wrong type of mosque, and you've got a tourist resort filled with British and German tourists, people being gunned down for going swimming, trying to take in some sun. None of these places are related other than through the Islamist ideology that decided to attack them. The worst example of this Islamist ideology is with ISIS right now, and most of the world, as I've said before, most of the free world is standing up to say no to that. While we've got people want to bury their heads and say that we're not dealing with terrorist attacks, terrorism is not a problem, you've also got people that want to bury their heads, people like Thomas Mulcair, the NDP leader, and Justin Trudeau, the Liberal leader, who say, we don't need to fight ISIS. Something that Trudeau said again this week.
Well, we've actually put forward a proposal around more humanitarian aid and actually a role for the Canada's military that would be more of a training role behind the lines. I think one of the things that we understand...
Pull out the CF-18?
Yes, we'd move away from the CF-15 mission.
Fighting ISIS is a foreign war, and right now among certain libertarian circles, fighting in a foreign war is always considered a bad thing. You can't get involved in other people's fights. Let me make this clear. France, Tunisia, and Kuwait are not in areas controlled by ISIS. But these are all ISIS-related or inspired events, just like the two attacks that happened in Canada last October, just like the next attack most likely will be. Just like we've got a young man in Winnipeg named Aaron Driver who is calling for Canada to be attacked. We've got 9% of Muslims in the United States saying that ISIS is just fine in terms of their beliefs, that their beliefs are correct. It may be a minority, but it's a large enough minority to cause real damage if they decide to act on that. And this isn't about being anti-Muslim. Did you notice I said a Shiite mosque was attacked as part of this? We can either take the fight to those that want to impose this extremist Islamist ideology on all of us, or we will have the fight taken to us. Either way, the fight is coming. Justin Trudeau thinks we should just sit back, send blankets, maybe do some training, but not do the heavy lifting. Tom Mulcair thinks the same thing. Others will blame Western intervention for all of this coming about. Was it Western intervention that was seeing Muslims in Bosnia slaughtered? No, it was Western intervention that stopped that. Was it Western intervention that caused Kuwait to be overrun by a thuggish dictator named Saddam Hussein? No, it was Western intervention that stopped that. So spare me your BS arguments, your sophomore arguments. That's really what they are. You sound like a bunch of potheads sitting around in second-year university trying to sound smart. We can sit here and let the fight come to us, or we can take part in it. We don't need to be involved in nation building, but pushing back against an expansionist, extremist ideology is something that Canada and the rest of the free world needs to do. And the headlines today of France, Kuwait, and Tunisia back that up. It's time to wake up.